Center, and Edelman has pulled together a whole team at the Grief Center. And so for the next 10 days or so, what I did is work with the media at the Cancer Grief Center, and there's nothing I've ever done in my career or imagine I'll ever do that was as important as that work and felt as rewarding as that work. One of the most touching things that happens to me is I will have people come up to me on the street who were related to cancer in one way or another and say, I remember you from those days and thank you. And I mean, that's much more meaningful than any feedback that I ever get. And then what Edelman does was just incredible. Like what we did in those days, I remember Noel Cloud, I'm looking at Brett because he knew him well. She was one of the main coordinators of this. So there are people that were doing actual cancer work. So me on site, people like Mike Holloway back at at Edelman because they needed to be in a kind of quieter place where they're dealing with the thousands of media requests that were coming in. But then we had this whole group of people that just volunteered, and I have this image of just maybe the night of September 12th or September 13th of it being 4 in the morning and this team of 30 Edelman people essentially, to be morbid for a second, alphabetizing the photos of the people that were unaccounted for and going through checklists of what we knew, what relatives were there, and it was just like the way they were dealing with this incredible difficult thing was they were doing it. Like they were doing it in a smart, efficient way, and just the number of Edelman people that were helping out was really, it was just amazing. There's such a difficult time, and I kind of can't believe that I'm at a point now where I can even talk about it at all, because it was so awful.
So can I make a quick segue then?
Yeah.
So about 6 months after, we got a request for a proposal from the mayor's office. The residual down here was people said, I don't want to work down here anymore. It's a bad environment. It's a terrorism threat. We got to get out of here. And they were going into their employers. So there was a threat that Lower Manhattan would be depopulated, both business and residential. And the city said, we can't let that happen. This is the core. This is where it started. This is essential to us. So we actually beat 70 other firms, and our job was to create an information hub to try to turn this around. And we quickly said, we're not going to do this with press. We're going to do this by informing the populace. And how are we going to do it? Well, we created a site called lowermanhattan.info. Literally in 60 days, Russell, Justin, Kate Ferguson, a few others, created from whole cloth and absolutely up to the minute what's happening on the subways, what's happening in entertainment and food and restaurants. This place is alive. We're coming back. We're going to succeed. A chat room that allowed people to say, I've got this problem, and then we were able to intercede. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I mean, only to say it was exciting work, and having seen what happened behind us, to be a part of the rebuilding was an amazing opportunity. And to work on a client that had the attention of the city of New York was really exciting. But, again, it showed what Edelman can do. I mean, that we built, this was more than 200 pages of content that we built in 2 months. And it's just, I think we just have an ability to really mobilize when it matters most. That's really special, and I think part of it is also Richard just saying, do what it takes. So it was it was a very heady time.
Well, it was
Yeah,
every night till 2
Brett.
a.m.
Brett, who's here.
2 days, 60 days for you.
Yeah, no, but Brett, there's such a team effort where Russell and I had spent weeks holed up in a conference room writing the draft of the RFP, and we're like, okay, we're too close to it. We gave it to Brett, and I think what happened is we finally went to bed, and you pretty much spent an overnight writing it, right?
Changed 4 or 5 words.
Oh no, you did a lot more. You made it sing, and it really was a really lovely RFP.
But leave aside the RFP, the way in which it changed the conversation was fundamental, because it said, we're totally transparent, here's our issues, here's what we're doing, here's the timelines, judge us by meeting those timelines, and by the way, here's the up-to-date environmental status, here's the air quality, etc. And here's the city's commitment to rebuild. So it was really important. In fact, Dan Doctoroff, who's now head of Bloomberg, then deputy mayor, said that was huge, and he couldn't thank me and the firm enough. So I just wanted you all to know that. That's all. And if you don't mind, maybe we just have a little moment of silence for Surya, who was a great kid. I can tell you, he was a great